Alrighty, what's goody, YouTube? It's your boy Drizzy here, and as you can see, we're gonna be talking more about the D&D campaign today. Um, I'm not in the right spot um to go in depth into like a full video analysis of the character classes. I'm not there yet, but I do want to know. I did want to give you guys an update on what I'm currently doing on the campaign. Um, Honestly, the main reason why that I haven't finished the character classes yet is due to one, Pal World, and due to two, trying to fix my sleep schedule for school. So if I look a little tired, that is why. Hang on, I gotta scroll all the way up. Um, I have successfully decided on what anime I want to have as the main quest sort of storylines. I essentially needed animes that had a power or had an item or had a character to steal or to gain the essence of that would have made sense in the scheme of the campaign. Remember, the thing is sealed. They need negative energy to unseal the Harbinger of Desolation. The Harbinger of Desolation. Yeah, they need to steal negative energy items in order to unseal said character. Um, so the ones we had talked about was Black Clover, and in I'm gonna list them off with their items that the people are gonna try to steal. I don't necessarily care if any of my players will happen to come across this video and watch it because they probably won't. My players won't metagame it anyway, so. And it's not like the Time Patrol doesn't know what they're looking for. The Time Patrol definitely does. Um, so let's start. Hang on, let me scroll up. Okay, so for Naruto, they're very obviously going to be taking a chakra fruit, or they might be going. They might could go after, um, like specifically either the 10 tails or the 9 tails. Basically, they're going to be going after a chakra fruit. And Dragon Ball Z, they're going after the negative Dragon Balls. I didn't want them to take the regular Dragon Balls because I feel like making GT canon is one, going to be hilarious, and two, it's gonna be interesting. It's just more interesting for me, especially because of how much in terms of like the anime we're doing, um, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, the Fate series, and like My Hero are probably like my strongest. So having more plot points in those universes does make more sense. Um, so these are the ones we did talk about before. My Hero, they are probably going to be trying to either steal All for One or steal One for All. One of the two of them, they're going to get their hands on one of them. Demon Slayer, they're obviously going after Muzan. Uh, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, they're going after the Arrow, which, granted, because of the powers of the Arrow, it's probably going to be a little bit of a later bit of the campaign, but I digress. Black Clover, they're specifically looking for a Devil Grimoire, which is for the Clover Kingdom. It's a 5-leaf clover. I don't know what the designs are for the rest of them because I haven't got that far, but I know that in the Clover Kingdom it's a 5-leaf clover. In One Piece, they are looking for the Water no Mi fruit, which doesn't actually exist. It's a devil fruit that I'm coming up with. Um, and they might also go after the negative fruit, which I don't think is a real thing, but if it is, cool. Um, Bleach, they are going after the I don't remember how to say it, but it's the little orb that Aizen took, the Hogyoki, the you know what I'm talking about. They're gonna try to steal that back from Aizen. Hunter x Hunter, I don't remember what I said for Hunter x Hunter. Hang on. Yeah, I don't. Actually, I don't have one for Hunter x Hunter. That is the only one I do not have. I think I said some form of nin. Yeah, I did say some form of nin. So I'll probably come up with a nin that makes sense for them to try to steal. For JJK, it's obviously Sukuna's fingers. For the Fate series, it's obviously the Holy Grail. Um, JJK is a little different though. They might take Maharaga if it comes down to it. So most of these they do have backup plans for. There's only a couple that don't. Um, hang on. So, yep, there it is. Bleach, yep. JJK, Second Fingers, Fate Series, Holy Grail. Full Metal Alchemist, they will be taking the Philosopher's Stone. Um, and then I said I wanted to add a couple more, and I did. I added Yu Yu Hakusho, which they will be taking the Spirit Orb of King Enma. I added Attack on Titan, and they will be taking the Founding Titan's Essence. And I added Tokyo Ghoul, and they will be taking the I forget what it's the ku ku. These are some hard words. Kuku Hua. I think that's how you say that. It's the hang on. Yeah. It's the it's the organ that has ghouls, you know, the one that steals seals the one that stores RC cells. That's what they're going to be stealing from them. They're going to be mass harvesting them. So that's all that. The reason why I added a couple more, it doesn't really have anything to do with the campaign length or anything like that. It really just has to do with like kind of balancing out the eras, which specifically on that, um, we have 3 current eras right now. We have Black Clover, Full Metal Alchemist, and Demon Slayer in the Ancient Era. We have Dragon Ball pre Z, pre GT, and pre Super. Um, Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, Naruto, and Attack on Titan in the Adventuring Era. In the modern era, we have Dragon Ball Z slash GT slash Super, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, Yu Yu Hakusho, Tokyo Ghoul, My Hero, and Fate series. And that's the modern era. So we have those 3 eras. And there's one thing I wanted to note on. So I never did. I don't think I read the full story to you guys last time, but essentially, these communities do intermingle outside of the ancient era. In the ancient era, they are completely and totally separate. But once they get to the adventuring era, they are not separate anymore. Um, so what that means is that, you know, hunters from Hunter x Hunter could end up running into pirates from One Piece, or ninjas from Naruto, or Attack on Titan. I'm thinking for the adventuring era, I'm gonna have the world set up in a way that it's exactly like, I don't want to say it's exactly like the One Piece era or map. It's not gonna be exactly like the One Piece map, but it is gonna be sectional islands. It's not gonna be like true. I don't want to say true to scale. It's not gonna be. There's gonna be more than one Naruto ninja island, but the actual Naruto bit of the campaign will be on one specific continent that is also like an island. It's an island continent like Australia. Same with like, well, I mean Hunter x Hunter, they do bounce around islands and stuff like that. Attack on Titan will also be the same as Naruto. So there's a chance that like when we're doing the One Piece bit of the campaign, following around whatever ship we're going to, we end up landing on Attack on Titan's continent or landing on Naruto's continent. It really depends on what I want to do or where they end up going in the campaign. Um, but with that being said, I thought about that, and then I looked at the modern era, and then I realized, Jesus, like Japan's just not gonna exist because Bleach is in Japan, so there's hollows running around. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is also in Japan, or there's some bits well, I mean, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is all around the world, but there are stand users in Japan. Jujutsu Kaisen, obviously in Japan, so there's curses running around, right? Um, Yu Yu Hakusho is not in Japan. Tokyo Ghoul is in Japan. My Hero's in Japan, and the Fate series is in Japan. So we got hollows, curses, stand users, ghouls, My Hero villains, and Fate series mages all in one fucking area. Like, oh, holy. Like, Japan will literally be a blip on the map. It will have the worst tourist score of all time. Like, genuinely. You will not want to go there. And then you also got to think Dragon Ball Z's here. So that means at some point, Majin Buu comes in and takes half the planet out with one attack. Like, what? It's just ridiculous, man. It's fucking. I see. I mean, it's not that I didn't know this was gonna happen, but I completely understand why there's no quote unquote like true anime universe like there is with some cartoons, where like Cartoon Network, a lot of the Cartoon Network shows are in one universe. They link up and meet up sometimes, and same with Nickelodeon, same with all that. I completely understand why that doesn't exist in anime, because Japan would literally just fold. It would just fold. There's nothing you can do. And then what was I gonna say? So currently I have all of the classes done. I'll give you a little brief little run through. I have Demon Slayers, in which you first, hold on, I gotta scroll to the right page, where you first take a test to determine your primary breathing affinity. That's only if you don't choose to be a Demon Slayer at the beginning. This is when you buy into that skill tree. You take a test to see what's going to be best. Pretty much every single one of those classes is like that, where if it has a certain affinity, if you don't choose to start with it, it's going to make you take a test. The only exception to that is like ones that it's you come up with it completely and totally. So next up we have, hang on, I got to scroll a little bit. Next up we have Black Clover Mages, which Black Clover Mages is also damn, dude. How much did I do here? I did a lot more than I thought. Yeah, we have Black Clover Mages, in which you have to create your own magic creation style. You can use ones that exist in the show, but it's up to you. It doesn't matter. And then we will come up with the abilities or the spell list as it goes. Then we have Full Metal Alchemist. Alchemist. This one I have already created the spell list for. So it kind of functions as like a true caster in D&D, where I give you spells that you can learn at certain levels, which I need to do that. I haven't done that yet. That's the reason why I'm not going in depth into the classes yet. Each one of these classes have subclasses, by the way. And then here we go. We get to Z Fighters. Now, Z Fighters is a difficult one. And why do I say that's a difficult one? Because for specifically Z Fighter, I have to come up with transformations for them, right? Obviously, Saiyans are going to get Super Saiyans. Namekians are going to get Great Namekian, giant form. But then there's also humans. There's also Dragonborns. There's also dwarves. There's also all of them, right? So I need to come up with a transformation. I'm going to separate humans probably. And then like humanoid-ish, probably separate those out, give them one transformation. And then, like the animalistic ones like Dragonborn, I can't really think of another one right off the top of my head right now. Basically separate it out and give them transformations. Each of them need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, just 4. Well, they need a lot more than 4 transformations, but there's 4 transformation levels that I have to develop. And I know what you're saying. I could just use Kaioken, but I personally think that Kaioken is a technique, which means that it's a learned trait. It is not a racial transformation. Same thing with like Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is a technique that everyone has access to. Same with Kaioken. So I have to come up with transformations for that. Kaioken does not cut it, in my personal opinion. So I will come up with transformations for that. If I ever get to it, I will let you guys know. But right now I don't have them. Next up we have. This is when I decided to make subclasses. Yeah, I see that. Oh, Nin. Yeah. So we have Nin, or AKA Hunter. You have the ability to manipulate your life energy. And you choose between the four types: manipulation, emission, transmutation, and specialization. Now, for people that are going to buy into Nin, I will roll a d4, and then you come up with your type or your Nin based on that. So yep, and those are the subclasses as well. Oh, and then we get to the Attack on Titan ones. I separated out Titan Shifter, and no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I separated Titan Shifter and ODM Masterclass gear user into two separate subclasses. The reason why I did that is because Aaron and a lot of the other Titan Shifters are still decent with ODM gear. They're not great, but they're decent. So you still will get the ability to use ODM gear effectively, even if you want to be a Titan Shifter or not. Next up we have. Oh well, that's the Scout class. Yeah, yeah. Dude. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see that. I see that. Yeah, I was getting the level 20 skills on some of the classes. Next up, we have Naruto. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this with everything I have in my soul. I will never, ever write another Naruto class again. Naruto is too damn complicated. Too damn not. It has too many plot holes. Just too many. I'm writing this class and I'm sticking with this class anytime we need a Naruto Shinobi. We're doing a Naruto Shinobi D&D session, anything like that. I'm just using this class. I'm not doing no other fucking class. Why? Because listen, I had to go through and create other fucking places, other clans for Kekkei Genkai specifically. There was 32, counting every piece of media that Naruto has done, 32 clans in the Land of Fire alone. Or no, it's like 33 actually. Yeah, it's 33 because I blanked on Shikamaru's last name. Right. There is four. Hold on, I'm looking at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5, and one of the one for the Land of the Wind, and one of the ones I put in the Land of Wind isn't actually from the Land of the Wind. It's actually from the Land of Fire. So there's really 34. And I did that with the Land of Water a couple times too. So it's like 37, 38, right? I get they spend the most time there, but they didn't like develop any of the other places, right? So I had to go through and create a bunch more. So now there's 27 clans in each of the respective regions with their own Kekkei Genkais, which is going to make the game even more complicated. That's the reason why I'm not touching these Kekkei Genkais until we run into them. If we don't run into them, that's fine. I don't care. But I personally wanted to do that so that way I can flesh everything out that I need to flesh out. And another thing with Naruto specifically, is you have the chakra natures, right? You have the fire, water, lightning, earth, wind, chakra natures. So, when you're starting, if you start as a shinobi, you get to pick that. Any other time, you have to roll for it. So, yeah. Then I had to talk about how I'm going to do the advanced natures, like wood release, lava release. How I decided is that it's going to be, you have to have knowledge of the advanced technique, and then I will roll to see if it'll even like let you activate it, and it'll be like you shoot water hydra jutsu, and then you do mud bomb jutsu, and then the next jutsu you do has a chance of being a wood jutsu. That's how we're gonna do it in this campaign. Um, I had to mention how I'm gonna do Jin Chirikis. I had to mention sort of kind of how I'm gonna do jutsus, how I'm gonna do village reps, how I'm gonna do. Man, I'm tired of doing. I'm so tired of doing Naruto, man. It's just like it's not pleasant. But for future reference, not the Naruto villages are going to be not necessarily villages. They will be like emergency roles for the time patrol, like the Land of Fires, firefighters, Land of Lightning, police officers, Land of Water, paramedics, Land of Stone, Homeland Defense, and Land of Wind is essentially the FBI. So yeah, we have that. Is there anything else I need to mention? Oh yeah. So then I had to make the damn base class, and the base class has 100 fucking subclasses. It's ridiculous, right? So, or no, it really only has three, but it has its spell list is so long, it's just not even pleasant, right? So you choose a subclass between taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Which, speaking of which, I need to make the spell list for taijutsu. I completely forgot about that. I need to make the spell list for genjutsu as well, but we'll get there. Um, Now I haven't decided on what skills I'm going to allow you to learn when you don't take that specialization, because obviously there's some people that don't specialize in genjutsu but can still do genjutsu, like Sasuke, for example. Um, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. All right, but I haven't done that yet. Now let's move on to One Piece. Now, first thing I did with One Piece is I mentioned that haki will not be a a One Piece class specific thing. Why? It is to allow being or classes that do not have elemental based powers to be able to hit Logias. Because if, let's say, for example, my party makes a team full of demon slayers, one Logia would literally ruin their day. So, in order to do that, you can purchase armament haki, observation haki for a fee. I will roll to see if you have the access to get Conqueror's haki. That will just be an added on trait to your character. Anytime you do deal damage to a Logia, you will automatically activate armament haki. This is basically just it's a gameplay thing. It's not even gonna be that expensive. It's probably gonna be like 10 gold. It's really not gonna be that expensive. Now One Piece classes get it for free. And then another thing, Devil Fruits are not gonna be like just they're not standalone classes. They're add-on classes. Like if you eat a devil fruit, you get that class, like the devil fruit user class, just for free. Like it doesn't count towards level cap. It doesn't count towards anything. You just get it for free. There's only two ones like that, and they're very similar in how they function. Um, so so that's kind of how we're gonna do devil fruits. We'll talk about the other ones later. Ow, that hurt. So One Piece is classes is designed more or less on roles, right? We have the brawler class, which is hand-to-hand fighters, essentially like Luffy, which we have. The subclasses are a specific hand-to-hand combat style, being like Fishman Karate, Rokushiki, things like that, right? Second up, we have the swordsman class, which is self-explanatory. Then we have the cook class, which is literally just about cooking. Like it has nothing to do with Sanji. Sanji is a cook brawler. And then there is also the doctor class. There is the helmsman class. There is the marksman class, which is actually kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. And then there's the shipwright class. So all of these are kind of like roles, essentially, and they all have subclasses. That way, when we get to One Piece and I'm writing up character sheets for X random guy on the boat, I know what class he fits because I know what his role is. Do I expect any of my players to choose these classes? I hope not. With the exception of like swordsman and brawler, and you could drop a couple levels into cook and things like that. It really depends on what how the campaign is going, where it's going, whether or not they need any of these classes. But yeah, some of these classes are pretty good though. And then after we did One Piece, I can't remember what was after One Piece. No, not Hunter x Hunter. Oh, it was the Seven Deadly Sins. We're probably gonna be here for a decent while because I did a Seven Deadly Sins class for each of the Seven Deadly Sins. The reason why I didn't, or the reason why I did one for the Seven Deadly Sins and the Ten Commandments. The reason why I did is specifically because they have abilities that does not allow them to work in um any other class. For example, I could make Gil Thunder work, making him like an emitter nin or a Fate series mage, or even hell, I could even make him a Black Clover mage. It would work, right? I couldn't make Meliodas work doing any of the other classes, right? So I went and did one for all of them. I didn't do one for like Elizabeth. I didn't do one for like Gil Thunder or any of the regular warriors in Seven Deadly Sins because they fit other classes. So I didn't go in depth into that. Um, Especially because like Nin, for example, is going to be running at the same time that they are. Same with like Chakra. So if I need it, I can do that. Um, let's scroll a little bit farther. Yeah, I did a lot of these, so I'm gonna have to scroll for a hot minute. I can't remember what's next off the top. Like I can never really remember what's next on the top of my head. Um, we ran into an issue here when I was doing this. I do use like ChatGPT when I'm writing these because it's a little bit easier for me to get my point across. But because of how many classes it was doing, it started to like lose the plot and forget kind of what we were talking about. So I had to remind it we were doing Seven Deadly Sins like 15 times. Um, because like we had to do all the subclasses, which most classes have 3 subclasses. Um, but yeah, so this was the big chunk of the stuff that I had to do. Next, we're moving on to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is essentially just you come up with a stand. Stands will have their own stats that you roll for, and they will have their own like health and stuff like that that will level up with you. So the class itself is just a base class. And it will it has and it's just not necessarily a subclass. It's more like a fighting style, which are as follows. And this is determined. You have to reach certain thresholds with your stats to get these to work, and this will determine kind of how your stand functions in combat. You have close range stands, which is like it's like Star Platinum and Silver Chariot. Powerful brawlers. You have the long range stands, which is more or less sneaky ambushers like Hierophant Green. Um, Automatic stands, which are stands that don't require user input, like Anubis. Range relevant stands, they have no standalone form and are assimilated into the person, like the World and King Crimson. And then there is materialized stands, stands tied to objects like the boat from like the boat in Strength and Wheel of Fortune. You have psychological assault stands that attack the psyche and the soul, like Heaven's Door and Chariot Requiem. We have foresight stands, stands that can see into the future. Toth, which is that little book. And then we have reconnaissance stands, can gather information around their surroundings, like Hermit Purple, essentially. So we have all of those, and those are effectively your subclasses. Next, we did Bleach. We started with Quincy's because I figured it would be easier, and then I did more research, and I realized it is not easy. So, for Quincy's, we went ahead and did the base class, and then I couldn't remember why I felt like this was too small, and then I remembered it's because the Stern Riders had their shrifts. I don't really know how to say that word, but I had to come up with, or not come up with, they had one for A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, LNOPQRSTUVWXY and Z, I think. The only ones they were missing was CK and N. Um, so I had to come up with one for CK and N, and then I created a Volstandig for the others. Now, are these Volstandigs fucking insane? Yes. But they get them at level 20, so I assume it's very valid. Like one of them, Grammys, has the ability for him to legitimately rewrite everything based on his own imagination. Which fits in line with his powers, but damn, bro. Like, we ain't hitting level 20. I'm stopping at 19. I'm not going to the level 20. Some of these classes at level 20, bro, they're broken. I swear to God, they are. Like, every last one of them is godlike. And I've never got to level 20, so I don't know if that's like normal, but Jesus Christ. So yeah. Next up, we did the Soul Reapers. This one is another one of the ones where you come up with your own Zanpakuto, Shikai, Bankai, and how it levels up. Honestly, this one will be my most fun because I personally like doing Soul Reapers Zanpakutos, but that's just me. And then we have subclasses based on fighting styles again, which Hollow Fight is one. Zanjutsu Specialist, which is sword fighting, is one. Hakuda Specialist is another one. Ho-Ho Specialist is another one. Keto Specialist is another one. Offensive, defensive, healer, and support are the last four. There will be more ways to get into other specializations. I gotta go through and do that because there are some people like I would say Ichigo is a Hollow-Fied Zanjutsu specialist, and you know, what's his face? What's her face? Yoruichi's probably like a Hokuda Ho-Ho specialist, and then Byakuya is a Zanjutsu Ho-Ho specialist as well with a little bit of Keto, but not enough to make him be a specialist. Then I couldn't figure out how I was gonna do Chad and Orihime, so I did decide to do a Fullbringer class, um, which in turn has their subclasses intact, which makes it to where it's a little bit easier to make those characters. Next things up. I can't remember. I was afraid to do Bleach. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I was super afraid to do Bleach because Bleach is like Naruto, where it's so complicated, um, that it makes it a little bit difficult. But then again, it's not as complicated as Naruto, so it actually was pretty streamlined. Naruto was the big one that was super complex. And even its spell list is so damn long, bro. It's like the length of the D&D 5e spell list for like you take two chakra dangers. It's the length of the D&D 5e spell list. Like it's ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous. So next up, we have Jujutsu Sorcerers. Now this one, obviously is another one where you have to come up with your own cursed technique. Yes, there are domains. Yes, there are all of that. Um, and the subclasses there is cursed martial artist, cursed weapon specialist, cursed projectile specialist, and reverse cursed technique specialist. Everyone will have access to reverse cursed technique, but the specialist will be able to do crazy things like fucking manipulating cursed energy, reversed cursed energy to resurrect all nearby fallen allies. Yeah, it's a little broken. All right, and then next up we have Yu Yu Hakusho, which I let the AI generator do this one because I personally do not. I watched Yu Yu Hakusho, but when I say I watched it, I mean like I do not remember a damn thing from it. I remember very little about like Hiei, and that's really about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'll let it do it. So it's in here, but I don't know how true it is to the uh I said the manga, but to the source material. So we have its subclasses are Spirit Swordsman, Psychic, Energy Blaster, Demon Hunter. And next up we had Ghoul, which I knew a lot about ghouls. I just didn't know how the fuck we were gonna do this for a class, but it kind of makes sense. So you choose the type of Kagune you have, Rinkaku, Bikaku, Ukaku, and Kokaku. Um, and you basically kind of choose your fighting style based on that, which is your subclasses. It's assassin, brawler, stalker, infiltrator. Um, yeah. So honestly, ghouls are pretty strong. And then we get to my hero. My hero is another one of the ones where you get the free non-level cap worthy skills, and that being quirks. The reason why I did this one for quirks as well is because of the way that I decided to do how you gain a quirk, um, if you don't start with one. Um, and that is I essentially made it the devil fruit version, or the modern era of devil fruits, if that makes any sense. So you basically go into like this place and they give you like medicine basically, and it changes your DNA. That's really the only reason why quirks doesn't fit the reason that doesn't fit the logic, but I did it that way to have more than one sort of gotcha ability system. That's all I did. Um, so if you're starting with quirks, you create your quirk, and then you have this class, and then it has um, fighting styles based on the type of quirk you choose. If you choose to be an emitter, that's your class or subclass. If you choose to be a transformation quirk, that's your subclass. You choose to be a mutant quirk, that's your subclass. If you choose to be an accumulation quirk, that'll be your subclass. Um, and then I essentially did the same thing with devil fruits here. I made one for like subclasses for Paramecia, Logia, and Zoan. And then now we move on to the last one, which is the Fate series Mages. This one is kind of really, really well, in my opinion, I think it's really well written, but I feel like it's probably going to be too much like a standard wizard, which is another reason why I'm not really worried about, like, if let's say for example we go to a side area where it's like fairy tale. I'm not really worried about how I'm gonna do that because I have like seven. I have like the regular D&D 5e classes. I have mages. I have Black Clover mages. I have so many chances to write them. The only groups of people that I can't do is any of the slayers, being dragon slayers or demons. Well, devil slayer. I guess they're devil slayers. But like I can't do any of them. But that's like one, two extra classes, and God Slayers three extra classes. So you know, it's not as bad as it seems. But yeah, it's really written in a way that like, if let's say for example I do one of those classes or need to do like a Slayer, I could take this class and add a Slayer subclass to it that makes sense, and it wouldn't like affect the class at all because of how it's designed. This is the last of the it doesn't cost towards level cap. The reason why is because you find these items throughout the campaign and you have to attune to them. And if you do attune to them and get a bond with the character, you're rewarded with an extra class. That is the only reason why, and it comes with its own subclass based on the type of heroic spirit you summon. So while yes, it is unnecessarily complicated, um, I kind of don't mind it to be. It's really not all that bad. The only issue right now that I'm running into is coming up with a spell list, because coming up with a spell list has been brutal. Um, I think what I did for like Demon Slayer and stuff was I just did well, Demon Slayer will have a spell list based on its breathing styles, but I haven't done those yet. Oh no, I did do those. I haven't done anything higher than intermediate yet. But I'm going through and I'm doing all of them for the rest of them. Um, so what was I gonna say? I did like cantrips for Black Clover because all of them are going to be tied to their own creation magic, so we have to go through and do that again anyway. Um, I haven't done. I did Full Metal Alchemist all the way up to level 9. I did Naruto all the way up to level 9. Hunter x Hunter I don't think needs one. I did cantrip. I did cantrips for pretty much all of them, but most of them didn't really need like full spell list anyway. But I digress. Um, but right now I'm doing Naruto, and it's taking forever. And I'm not gonna touch the KK Genkai releases until we come across them. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I refuse. And with that being said, catch you guys on the flip side. The next time you see me, we should be going fully into depth into probably the plot, since I did a lot of the classes today. Um, I will give you guys like a rundown of. Well, I don't want to give you guys a rundown of the classes. I'll probably post images at like the end or the beginning of the video with the classes, but the next time you see me, we're gonna be talking about plot more than likely. With that being said, unless I finish the classes. If I finish the classes, then we will be talking about the classes. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace out.